Hi everyone, this is Dave from Pandora Prime Recon, and this is the first video in a series of how to play Warhammer 40,000 CCG by Sabertooth Games. My goal with this series is to explain the rules as clearly and directly as possible. So if you liked the video, if it helped you out, please like, comment, and if you want to see more videos, subscribe to the channel. So what's the objective of the game? The objective of the game is to capture an entire planet before your opponent does. And each planet in the card game is represented by 5 sectors. There are different sets of sectors based on the expansion that you're playing in, but for today, we're going to be using the Pandora Prime sectors from the first set in the card game. So to win the game, you have to capture 3 of 5 sectors. You can see there are 5, so you have to capture a majority, or if by the end of 4 turns, if no player has a majority, the player with the higher victory point total wins. So I'll just show you one of these sectors really quick. So each sector has a victory point total. So here you can see that our Deus Valley has 14. And so by the end of the game, let's say you capture the Chembogs and the Oberon Hive City, while your opponent captures the Ardeus Valley and the Black Maze. Your victory point total will be 38 compared to 26 for your opponent, which means you'll be the winner of that game. So again, in order to win, you have to capture 3 sectors or have a higher victory point total than your opponent. So how do you start? First, you're going to need a deck. You're going to need a deck of 60 cards of any one faction. And this is represented by the fleet card that you'll need to play as well. Each faction in the card game has a fleet card like this, so this will dictate which cards you can play, as well as any abilities that affect you while you're playing the game. So there's no really mixing and matching of different factions. For example, you can't play Eldar and Dark Eldar in the same deck unless you're kind of playing some weird house rule. You're going to be playing, let's say if you're playing Orcs, you're going to be playing Orc cards and any generic cards you're allowed to play as well. So 60 card deck plus your fleet card. So when both players are ready to play, you compare the first wave numbers on your fleet cards. I'll show you up close. You can see the Orcs fleet card has a first wave of 3, and the Space Marines fleet card has a first wave of 1. So what that means is that the higher first wave is going to be the attacker for the battle, and that will change some things around. In the case that both players have an equal first wave number, in the old days, the player with the higher online ranking system would get to choose, but since that's not really a thing anymore, what you do instead is that you roll off the top of your deck to see who has a higher die number. And to roll in this game, it's really simple. All you need to do is take the top card of your deck and put it into your discard pile, and then you look at the die roll results. Every card has it, sorry, this is off camera. Every card has a die on it. So, for example, York's player rolls a 3, while Space Marine player rolls a 4. So that would mean that if the first wave totals were equal, the Space Marines player would get to choose who is the attacker and who is the defender for that turn. And each turn, again, if your first wave numbers are the same, each turn you roll to see who determines who is attacker and who is defender. So that's that. So once the attacker of the game is determined, as well as the defender, you move on to deployment. And the first step of deployment is your first wave deployments. So starting with the attacker, what you do is that you take the top card of your deck and you put it face up at any sector. So for example, I'll put the Ammogrots at the Ardeus Valley. And next, I'll take my next card and I'll put it at any sector but the one where I already deployed a card. The thing with first wave deployments, you can't put more than one card at a sector unless you have no other sectors remaining. So for example, let's say there are only 2 sectors left in the game and I have a first wave of 3. I can put 1 at the Valley, 1 at the Chembogs, and then I can put the third anywhere I want. But as long as there are an equal number or more sectors remaining than the first wave, I have to put it somewhere else. So I can't, repeatedly put it at the same sector. I have to go 1 at the Valley, 1 at the Chembogs, and for example, I'll put my Killicans at the Oberon Hive City. So once the attackers finish their first wave deployments, it goes on to the defender. So the defender does the exact same thing. They take the top card of their deck and they put it face up at any sector. So for example, I'm going to put Squad Navarre at the Ardeus Valley. So that's the first step of your deployment, which is first wave. So the next step is regular deployment. So you do things a little bit similarly. Instead, what each player is going to do is that they're going to draw a hand of 6 cards. And this is going to be your deployment hand for the turn. So the Space Marines player is also going to draw 6 cards. And so now, starting with the attacker, what they're going to do, this is a little bit different this time, is that what they're going to do is that they're going to put one card face down at any sector. And this time, they can put cards face down as many times as they want at whichever sector they want. There's no limitation this time. The only difference now is that you alternate. So once the attackers put down their first regular deployment card, it's up to the defender to put their first deployment card. So you just essentially alternate like so, putting down first wave cards until each player has essentially run out of cards to play for their regular deployment. So I'm just gonna keep putting cards down randomly just to illustrate the point. So we'll keep going. The attacker has one card left. Defender has one card left. The attacker puts down their last card. The defender puts down their last card here. All right, this is deployment. Deployment is all done. So once deployment is done, then you move on to battling. I'm going to talk about combat and battling and card types and all that stuff in another video. We're just going to go over the rest of the turn order for the rest of this video. So now, once deployment is done, you move on to battling. Each turn consists of 2 battles, so this is a really important distinction to make. The first battle is dictated by the defender. So the defender gets to choose where the first battle is. If I'm the Space Marines player, for example, let's say I choose the Chem Bogs. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the sector sideways just to show where we're fighting, and then each player turns all their cards face up, and then they go through the steps needed to play a battle at this sector. I'm not going to play it out now, but let's say no one takes this sector. So the battle is completed, the first battle is done. We're going to turn it back to the original orientation to show that we're done. So after the defender chose the first battle, the attacker chooses the second battle. So let's say I'm the attacker, I'm the Orcs player, I'm going to choose the Black Mace. So again, I'm going to turn the sector sideways, and then each player turns all their cards face up to get ready to battle. And so now they're going to battle. So they go through all the steps, they do the combat, they finish this battle. And for example, again, let's say no one takes this sector, you're going to turn the sector card back to its original orientation, and that is one turn of the 40K CCG. So again, just to recap, you determine who is the attacker and who is the defender. You do your first wave deployments, you do your regular deployments, you do 2 battles, and at the end of that, you just go on to the next turn. And again, there are 4 turns in this game, and just to recap, the objective of the game is to take 3 of the 5 sectors, or have a higher victory point total than your opponent by the end of 4 turns. I believe that covers the turn order and deployment and attacking and defending generally. So I hope this is a good intro. Next, we're probably going to go into card types, unit stats, and maybe a little bit of combat. But again, I hope this helps as this kind of an intro to the 40K CCG. Again, if this helps you, please like, comment, let me know what you think. And again, if you like videos like these, you want to learn more about the card game, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Again, this is Dave from Pandora Prime Recon, and thanks for watching.